Okay, so let's start with a little big picture overview slash review. Because as we get more and more into the details of classes and objects, sometimes it's easy to lose perspective on what you're even trying to do. So I want to review and make sure, again, that we continue talking about this big picture of what classes and objects are. So as we've already discussed, and you've gone through in your Zybook, there are basically two main parts of object-oriented programs, right? There are the classes and the objects. And by now, you know that a class is a general type, like a person, and an object is a specific instance of that type, like Steve or Joe, okay, or an actual person, right? So we've got classes and objects, and in general, classes, or I guess always, classes have to be created first. So somebody actually has to write the code for a class if we want to use some type of thing, like a person in some, you know, software we're writing, or a car. So first somebody has to write the actual code for the class, and it would look something like this. It would say public class, and then whatever you want to make a class for a car, or again whatever you're going to use in some program. And you'd create that class, and you'd put some variables and some methods inside that class. And then once somebody has created the class, now other programs can use that class to create objects of that class type. So again, in some other file now, in some other Java file, we could now have code that looks a little bit like this. So if somebody has created a class for a car, over here we can now create car objects. So I could create a car called player one car, right? There's the line to actually create that object called player one car. And then after I create an object, I can now use that. I can call methods on it to do things with it. So I can say player one car increase speed, and then I can do things like call this get speed method, okay, that will actually get the current speed of the car, and I can print it out. So this is our system out print, and I'm printing out the speed of the car. But anyway, the big picture, right? Somebody has to first create a class, then we can just use objects of that class type. So we could create lots and lots of cars now. Player one car, player two car, Joe's car, Steve's car, whatever we want to make, okay? And then we can actually use those in our programs. So that's the big picture. We're going to talk, or most of the time up until now, we've mainly talked about somebody else, or we've already had a class created. So somebody has created a class for us, whether it be something like a scanner class or a random class or something like that. And then we've mainly talked about using the objects of that class type, making objects and using them. But today we're going to get into the details of how we can create our own